So here's the next thing. When we look at the unit circle, and we'll start just by looking at the top half of the unit circle, let's compare what happens in the first quadrant with what happens in the second quadrant. Consider an angle of 40 degrees. This angle's 40. If this whole angle here is 140, what does that make this angle over here? That means this one must be 180 minus 140, which is also 40 degrees. If this is 40 and this is 40, what can you tell me about, let's go the easy one first, the y coordinates of P and Q? Won't they be the same? But the y coordinate is sine theta. So sine of 40 and sine of 140 are the same. What about the x coordinates? Well, if this is 40, then this distance here is going to be the same as this distance here, right? But this is positive and this is negative. So actually the x-coordinate of P is going to be the same size as the x-coordinate of Q, but Q's is going to be negative. Let me go and have a look at that. So, it doesn't really matter what angle I choose, but let's have a look at 40 first. So somewhere around 40 degrees, doesn't matter if I'm not exact. Okay, 40 degrees. The x-coordinate is 0.76. And 180 minus that 40 is 140. Should have the same y. I didn't look at the y, did I? Y was 0.64 and x was 0.76. Let's go across to 140 degrees. Should have made my program so I could type in the angle, shouldn't I? So the x-coordinate here is 0.76, only it's negative. And the y-coordinate is 0.65. So that worked. Does it work for other angles? Well, yes, it does. Actually, if you look at my program, you can see the red and the blue lines, the horizontal and vertical lines, highlighting what's going on here. So if I choose this point at 60 degrees, the other angle is going to be over here. That's going to be 180 minus 60, which is 120 degrees. This is going to be 60. So the y-coordinate is going to be the same, and the x-coordinate is going to be negative of what it is over here. Okay, let's talk about tan then. Tan, we decided, was sine over cos. So if sine hasn't changed and cos has only changed its positive or negative, then tan is going to be the same but negative. Okay? Tan is sine over cos, and if sine is equal, because it's the same y, and cos is equal but negative, because it's the same distance, then tan is going to be negative of what it was. Shall we go back and look? So tan of 120, close enough, is minus 1.7, and tan of 60 should be 1.7. Can't get close enough with my funny touchpad. And it's 1.7. Okay? So that's the second thing to notice. First and second quadrants, sine is the same, cos is negative. And we're talking about, just to make it clear, we're talking about what happens with 40 degrees and 180 minus 40 degrees. We're always going to be looking at angles plus or minus from the horizontal axis.